everybody?
Wait, hold on. Okay, you're live.
Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. As always, you can listen to this on iTunes or just search Gary Owen #Get Some or go to YouTube, youtube.com/GaryOwenCom. Or is this live? Because I'm not getting it on my end. Let me refresh it. We're trying to go live, and I'm trying to look at people's comments, but I don't see nothing so far on my end. We always go. People make fun of me because they'll be like, you always try to go live and can't get it together. And I can't get together again.
They're there. I can see them.
And I don't see nothing on my end. I'm going to videos. Nothing. Playlist home. I cannot find it. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm in. I'm refreshing. I'm on my page. I got the engineer coming in. Turn the volume down. Austin. Turn the volume down. I'm doing my podcast. All right, well, turn it off. This is the problem when you do this shit at your house with teenagers that they don't give a shit about your podcast. They're trying to watch TV. All right, so I'm back on. I'm good right now. Let me see. My schedule. Let's go over my schedule right before we get started. I'm actually off this weekend. I'm in Vegas July 13th at the Palms Casino. That's the Pearl Theater inside the Palms. And actually tomorrow, I'm flying out to Vegas. I'm going to present at the MMA Awards, the Mixed Martial Arts Awards. Because when you think of MMA, you think of Gary Owen. I still don't know what I'm presenting or who I'm presenting with. I guess they're going to surprise me. Hopefully this isn't a setup. They're trying to get, going to whoop my ass. Because it's weird. Like they called, the bookers called. I said, yeah, I'm open. I can come in. And that was it. And then, so I'm there July 13th. And then I'm at the same theater, the Pearl Theater inside the Palms, where the MMA Awards are July 3rd. I'm at that same theater on July 13th. I'll be there. And then the week after that, which is July 18th through the 20th, I'm in Minnesota inside the Mall of America. There's a comedy club inside there. And then I'm in July 25th to the 28th, I'm in Philly at Helium Comedy Club. And then the first week of August, I'm in Cleveland at the Improv. And I just bought my tickets. My buddy Ty Law, who used to be a DB with the New England Patriots and a couple other teams, but he made his name with the Patriots. Ty was the one who used to get in Peyton Manning's ass, man. He had a knack for just every time I saw it, when back in the day when it was Brady versus Manning, it was never Brady Manning. It was Ty Law versus Manning because Ty was on defense and he just had a knack for just like, I don't know what it is, but he always shut down Peyton Manning, whoever he was guarding, whether it be Marvin Harrison or Reggie Wayne. Like Ty Law just had a knack for picking the ball off so many times. But I bought tickets to his Hall of Fame enshrinement. He invited me, and I felt obligated to get the tickets. So I buy them, and you have to have an invite to get the tickets. So I get them, and then I see it's 8:00 on Saturday is the enshrinement ceremony. And I was like, I don't know why I thought it was during the day. And I don't know if I'll be able to make it because I got shows that night in Cleveland. And I told Ty beforehand, I said, when he asked me, could I make it? I said, I think so. I'll try to work my schedule, see if I can make it. And I thought me being in Cleveland, I'm good. Canton, Ohio. Cleveland's like less than an hour away. I was like, I'll make it. And then I don't know if I'm going to now. So what I'll probably do if I can't make it, since I bought the tickets, I'll probably like do something where I can give them the two New England Patriots or Ty Law fans. I'll come up with something on the internet to get these tickets to somebody. So hopefully I can make it, but if not, it is what it is. But congratulations to Ty, and I'm supporting, even though I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I just found that out. So yeah, that's my schedule for the rest of the month. Listen, we pre-record some of my podcasts. So we pre-recorded last week's. So I've had a lot go on in the last couple weeks. One, I had a buddy get married. I've talked about this guy before. His name's Mike Heineman, and he got married down in right outside of Tampa. It was Treasure Island. Yeah. Got married on the beach. Beautiful wedding. I posted a lot of it on my Instagram page because it was his new wife is from West Virginia, and West Virginia was deep down there and right outside of Tampa. And they were listening to West Virginia music. Country road, take me home. And I ain't gonna lie, I was all in. I was singing, drinking. Then we went to some hole in the wall bar, Ricky T's, I think it's called. Ricky T's. Everybody going to Ricky T's after the reception. And we had the best time. But that is the sign of good friends, man. Is I ain't got to see this guy, Mike Heineman. We might go months without talking. And then my other buddy, Paul Johnson, like us three, when we get together, man, it's like no time has passed. And I've known both those guys for over 25 years. And I'm so happy. I'm happy that he's happy. I'm happy. I really like his wife, and just it's when your friends are happy, you just like seeing them happy, man. And I'd never seen him that happy because Mike holds a lot in, man. Like if he's got something going on, he just doesn't let anybody in, and he holds on to stuff. And sometimes I don't think that's healthy. But there was a moment at his reception where him and his daughter started dancing, and he let his guard down. I don't know what his daughter said to him or he said to his daughter, but he just lost it. He cried hard for like 10 seconds, and then he was back to being Mike. But it was just whatever that moment was, and it was cool to see. And I taped it, but I wouldn't post something like that. I'm just going to keep it. I'll show it to Mike. I think I sent it to his phone. It was just one of those things, man. It was nice to see it. Sometimes it's nice to see your friends that hold a lot inside, but they're always giving you advice to let their guard down a little bit. And just him and his daughter having that moment, it was something special that I got to see. And just me, him, and Paul cutting up, man. That shit never gets old. Us three together. So yeah, that was cool. And then I went to BET Weekend, which was interesting in itself. That Meet the Blacks 2 brought me out, which was the movie I got coming out. I thought was coming out on Halloween with Katt Williams and Mike Epps, but I found out they're pushing it to February. So I guess it's going to be a Black History Month release. But the director, Deon Taylor, showed me a trailer. That shit looks good. That shit looks really good. It looks way better than The Trap. I'll tell you that. Just kidding. Katt and Meet the Blacks 2, Katt Williams plays Dracula. And I'm not going to give the movie away, but, Mike Epps from the first one, Carl Black was his character name. He moves out of that neighborhood into a new neighborhood, and he moves next door to Katt. Well, Katt moves next door to Mike, and Katt moves in. There's always like, something's not right with that house. Well, of course, he's Dracula, but it's a classic Katt Dracula. He's got two badass chicks always around him, dressed in next to nothing. He's got some weird like henchmen and assistants, and then I live across the street from Mike and Katt, and I am a paraplegic ex-military vet, avid Trump supporter. And I'm the white guy that moved into the black neighborhood but did not move out. I was like, nah, this is my neighborhood. I'm not leaving. And so I saw the trailer, man. And I'm not just saying that to say, like, Meet the Blacks was cool, but there were some editing issues in that. There were some things that could have been better in the first one. But this second one, I think it got a bigger budget, and it shows. It shows. A budget can do a lot for a movie if you get a big budget. I mean, it's like doing a comedy show. You pay what you get. I always tell people when they're trying to book a comedy show, I said, you got to spend money to make money. You got to spend money on decent name comics if you want people to come out and pay tickets. You can't go short on the comics budget because that's the only way you're going to make money. And that's what it looked like with this one. But Meet the Blacks 2 brought us out, and then we played in a dodgeball tournament, and we won for the second year in a row. completely dominated. We played Chicago Black Ink. I think that's the tattoo show from Chicago. But we had a ringer. We had Matt Barnes. So, you got a 6'8" athlete and playing dodgeball. And it was, I was like, I know what it's like to play with LeBron now. I know what it's like after playing basketball with Matt Barnes. Dodgeball with Matt Barnes. I was like, God dang, it was a monster. And I'm not being braggadocious. I was the second best player on our team. I was. Now, granted, you're looking at Michael Blackson was on the team. Ha Davis was on the team. Deion Taylor, the director, was on the team. So Tyron Turner was on the team. Now, Tyron's a good little athlete. Tyron's from Menace to Society, for those of you who aren't familiar with the name. We dominated that. And then I went to two things. I went to Deion Taylor's wife had a birthday party at STK Steakhouse. And I went, and it was cool because I ran into Michael Ealy and his wife. And I met Michael Ealy's wife a few times, but never had a long conversation with her. What a nice lady, man. What a great, both of those guys, Mike and his wife, man, they're just like, they're so funny together though. Like, so Mike doesn't let a lot of people into his social media. Like, he lives his life off the grid. But his wife starts showing us pictures of Mike with his kids. Mike could have 5 million views right now. There was a picture of him holding his son where it looked like Ely had makeup. It looked like they sprayed him with water. It was the perfect fucking picture of a man and his son. And Mike's a good-looking guy as it is, but he's holding him, and this look Mike is given, it's just like this seductive, like, yeah, I'm the perfect husband, perfect father. And he's just holding his son. His son's sitting there like, this is the greatest dad in the world. And I'm looking, I go, Mike, did you pose for this shit? And he was like, nah, man, I'm just photogenic. So I told Mike, I got to have his wife send me that picture so I can have me and my son, my teenage son, reenact that picture and put like a side-by-side. Ely and his son, me and my son. But Mike said something to me that meant a lot. He goes, all the movies he did, he goes, he enjoyed working with me and Kevin a lot because he said you never knew what was going to come out of our mouths, either on screen or off screen. He goes, and it just every day you came to set and you were just like immediately in a good mood because you knew we were going to be cutting up and just having fun on set, as I think comedians should be doing. In movies that gets expected a little bit. So it was just cool to hang out with him and his wife. And then we went to James Lopez's birthday party. And if you're not familiar with James Lopez, he's a movie producer. He used to work with Screen Gems, but over the last 5 years, I think he's been working with Will Packer exclusively. And man, that was one of the best Hollywood parties I've ever been to. It was the who's who of Black Hollywood was there. And everyone would just have let their guard down and was cutting loose. And it was just fun, man. Like, I talked to the asshole on The Chi. What? I don't know his character's name, and I hate it. I'm drawing a blank, but the dickhead on The Chi. I talked to him and his family for like a half hour while I was there. They was real cool. He said he wants to come on the podcast, and I feel like a dick for not knowing his name, but hopefully since I'm live, some of the listeners can type in his name from The Chi, the asshole, the one that just got shot. I don't want to ruin it, but he just got shot on the last episode of The Chi because he took all the chicken out of the restaurant. But I had a good conversation with him and his family, like his brother, and I don't know, he has a couple other people with him. And then I ran into Tone Bell, which was interesting. Bart. Yeah, Bart. I think it's like Bartholomew or something. I don't think it's just Bart. But then I ran into Tone Bell. And it's funny, like, Tone Bell's a comedian, and Barton Fitzpatrick. See? Thank you guys. You guys. Yeah, I talked to him for a long time. Barton Fitzpatrick. Yeah, I talked to him for a long time from The Chi. So, and then I ran into Tone Bell. And for those of you who don't know who Tone Bell is, he's a comedian, and I talked about him about 8-9 months ago on my podcast, where I said he's one of those guys that he goes sitcom to sitcom, and his sitcoms will get canceled. Either he's the lead or he's one of the leads, and he'll just go to another sitcom. And he's like in that world. Like once you're in, it's like that's why you see a lot of people in the same commercials. Once you get a really great commercial, you will get another commercial. You'll see a lot of the same people in commercials, and you probably won't even realize it. And that's the same thing with Tone in the sitcom world. Like Tone is just going sitcom to sitcom to sitcom, and none of them have stuck for whatever reason. I think a lot of it is sitcoms are dying. Myself, network sitcoms are dying. And I had said like Tone Bell in Hollywood, probably doesn't have to audition for sitcoms anymore. Is just getting offered roles. But if he walks through the airport, he's still pretty much anonymous because it's just people's attention span aren't where they used to be. Like when I first moved to LA in '98, that was it. You get on a sitcom, that was the golden ticket. You were good. I mean, as far as stand up, if you were stand up, you're going to start selling tickets and you're basically a working actor. That's what you want to do. Nowadays, it's not like that. So when I talked about Tone Bell, when I saw him, I said, that was an indictment on you or your talent. I said, it was an indictment on just where we're at as far as society goes and entertainment. And he goes, yeah, because Tone had a Showtime special, and on his Showtime special, he called it Can't Cancel This. So when I saw the title, I said, hey, man, did I have something to do with that title? And he said, nah. And then we got talking. He goes, maybe a little bit. And I was like, when I saw it, I go, okay. And I wanted to reiterate, this is not an indictment on you, dude. I go, it's just where we're at in society. Like reality TV people are more famous than sitcom people nowadays. That's just a fact. And we had a nice conversation about it. He goes, yeah. He goes, nah. He goes, I got to be honest with you, Gary. I felt some kind of way about you because I guess we were drinking. There was loud music, but I guess we had a show together in 2012. And I don't know if he had a bad set or I bagged on him after his set. I don't know what happened. If I was hosting a show, I don't know. But he just said, man, I felt some kind of way about you when you went in on me at one of our shows. And I was like, dude, I don't even remember that. And then he was like, but then I realized, it's not personal. He's just being a host at a stand-up show talking about people. And I was like, yeah. And I'm thinking, fuck, I don't even remember that show, dude. And I don't even know if I got the facts right, but I'm sure next time I see Tone, he'll reiterate it. Somebody keeps hitting me up. They want to come to the Middle East because we're live. Yes. If there's the proper check, and yeah, I will come. I always tell you, if you guys want to book me, all you gotta do is go to GaryOwen.com. All my contacts on there. I'm with United Talent Agency, UTA. I'm not hard to reach because I'm working every week, so people know how to reach me. So yeah, it was cool to talk to Tone and to air it out, and it wasn't like a tense conversation. We were laughing and cutting up and having drinks and everything else, and it was just it was cool, and it was funny because I meet with him at James Lopez's party, which had everybody at the party. I mean, it was so much fun. It was so much fun just to run into a lot of people I haven't seen in a while and with no agenda. That's the thing, man. There wasn't like I'm trying to get work out of this party or I got a problem with this dude. It was just all love. Black Hollywood's small, man. It's really small, and I'm in the middle of it, and I love it. I'm like Karl Malone, just sitting all by myself. But then so as I went out there and I maximized my 3 days in LA for the BET weekend. So I go out there and I go to James Lopez's party. I do the dodgeball tournament, but I made sure I booked a couple podcasts too. I did Theo Vaughn's podcast, he's got a lot of viewers, but it's funny. Like Theo's a real cool guy and I had a good time on his podcast, but it's funny how people just, I guess they don't, like he asked me, do I know who Katt Williams is? Like Theo just said, hey man, you ever met Katt Williams? I'm like, what? Like, it's crazy because, I opened mic with Katt. We both got to LA around the same time, the late 90s. So it's like, when people ask me something, I'm like, yeah. And I had to look at Theo. I go, I know every black comic. Like, every black comic I've met and I know. And it reminded me of when Brendan Schaub, when him and Brian Callen was talking about me a couple months ago. Brendan Schaub said, yeah, I think the guy had a Showtime special. I'm pretty sure he had one Showtime special. And I was like, man, I'm really like out the loop as far as some of these other comics that are, doing these podcasts now. And I shared a funny story on Theo's podcast about Katt Williams, and it's a true story. And it goes to show you what kind of person Katt is. Like, Katt gets a lot of press for the bad things he does, but he does do a lot of good things too, because, and this is so minor, but it was just something cool that happened in, I believe it was 2006 or 2007. Katt just popped. I mean, just popped because the week before, not the week, I'm sorry, like 6 months before, me and Katt had a show together at Kent State University. And I remember that show so well because there's a comic named Coco Brown, a girl comic, and she went long, and Katt was a headliner, right? I was hosting. So I go up, and I remember Damon Williams, Coco Brown, me and Katt was on the show at Kent State. And I'm hosting, and Coco Brown was supposed to do like 20 or 25, and she went over. She did like 35, 40, let's say. But she was over by more than when you're doing stand-up, man, 5 minutes, okay. When you start getting into 15, 20 minutes over, if you're a headliner, a lot of headliners deem that disrespectful. And there's some people I won't work with to this day because they've gone long in front of me. And that's my thing. When you go long in front of me, I'm done. Because you can fool me once, you're not going to fool me again. Because especially when you got like 4 comics on the show, crowds can get tired. And if they get tired, then you go up there to a flat audience and it sucks. So Coco went long, and when she says goodnight, I go on stage, and I could hear Katt and her arguing on the side of the stage. I could hear Katt going, he said something like, so you just going to say, fuck me and go long like that? And Coco said something like, hey, I was just doing my jokes. I didn't mean nothing by it. And then it was like, you could hear it. It was funny because Coco's a girl, Katt's a boy, but Coco's voice is deeper than Katt's. So it was a funny argument because Katt wasn't, you just going to say, fuck me. You ain't going to worry about when I got to go on stage. Oh, I'm just doing me, And I'm hearing this shit on the stage. I'm like, oh, shit. So I brought Katt up, and I learned this from Katt after that day. Katt went up and did about 15 minutes. Now, he was supposed to do an hour. He did like 15. And when he got off, he told the university, she did my time. So he basically, and I agree with Katt 100% on this, he was like, I would have did an hour, but you let Coco go long. So she did my time. You let her do the time I was supposed to do. And he got off and went home. And I was like, whoa. I was like, and I'm the same way when I get on those shows. And if I got 4 or 5 people in front of me and I'm headlining and people go long, I'm getting off early. Trust. You should have got him off. Whoever the promoter was should have got him off. And so that was at Kent State. And when we did that, I was like, okay, the crowd like gave Katt love, but it wasn't like, whoa, Katt Williams. 6 months later, we're in Austin, Texas. When I got the contract, it said the Frank Irwin Center, which is where the Texas Longhorns basketball team plays. And in my brain, I was going, why would somebody book me and Katt at the basketball arena? I was like, we're good for about 1,500, 2,000 tickets sold, not 10,000. And then I got there. It's fucking packed. I'm looking around like this. Oh, shit. Katt popped. And I was like, so I'm on stage like, damn. And then when I saw the ovation, when Katt went on stage, I went, oh, this motherfucker popped. You don't know when it's going to happen. It just happened. But within that 6 months, it happened for Katt. And so I get done with the show. Show was smooth. Everybody had a good time. And I get back to the hotel, and the promoter had gotten me and Katt 2 separate limousines to take us back to the hotel. So I get back to the hotel, and I got back about 10 minutes before Katt, and I'm talking to my driver, and I had some buddies in town. I said, hey, man, we'd like to take the limo out. We want to hang out. I've never been to Austin before, and we just want to hit some bars, nightclubs, hang out. And he goes, no problem, Gary. It's going to be $300 for a couple hours. And I went, okay. So I tried to give him cash. He wouldn't take it. He goes, oh, no, I need a credit card, company policy. We don't take cash. I'm looking at the dude. I go, but it's cash. It's yours. You ain't got to tell nobody. Just take it, dude. He goes, yeah, I wish I could, but I can't. Company policy. I need cash. So as I'm having this discussion with my driver, during this discussion, Katt had pulled up. And Katt just walked over right when I'm finishing up this discussion. He goes, "Hey, Gary, what's going on?" And I go, "Nothing, man." He goes, "Is there a problem?" I said, "No, I went to limo for a couple hours." And my driver said he don't take credit cards. I mean, he don't take cash. He needs a credit card. Katt said, "Hold on." He takes my driver around the back of his limo. And to this day, I cannot tell you how much money Katt gave that driver, but I did see him peeling off hundreds behind the car, right? Katt walked by me, and this is all he said verbatim. I'll never forget it. He goes, "He's yours for the evening, Gary. Enjoy your night." Oh, yes, they do accept cash. When I tell you, I never had service like this in my life. This dude took me and my boys to a club. I swear he pulled in the club. I swear he pulled right in. And then he brings us back. The next morning, my flight isn't, I remember it was like 10, 11. It wasn't like 6 in the morning. Like I slept in. I get back. He's still waiting on me. Like I came down, he was still waiting on me to take me to the airport. And I was like, how much did Katt get this motherfucker? Like, to this day, I don't know how much he gave me. But, you know, that's just something that I always thought that was cool what Katt did, you know? And then, but here's the thing. So that's the good Katt. Let me tell you an awkward Katt story with me and Katt. So about 3 years ago, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. So I had a show at Phillips Arena with about 3 or 4 other comics. So after the show, I go to this little spot. I didn't know it was a nightclub. It was just where they told the comics to go if we want to go hang out. A lot of times when you do big shows, they'll have like a club or a bar or lounge that you guys can go to. They call it the official after party. We don't know. So I get there, I'm hanging out, and all of a sudden somebody says, "Katt's here." And Katt's got a table in a section. And one of Katt's people came over and said, "Hey, Gary, Katt's here." I said, "Oh, okay." So I walk over. I said, "What's up?" And Katt goes, "Yeah, I heard your interview about me." And I go, "Which one?" He goes, "All of them." I was like, I've never badmouthed Katt, so I was pretty solid in whatever you heard. It had to be positive. And then, so then I start talking to him, and Katt's not paying attention to me. Like he's just looking off and over here. And I felt like I was talking to somebody that did not want to talk to me. So I left. So I leave his section. And when I leave his section, I look back, and Katt's looking at me like, "Yo, what's up? Like, why'd you leave?" So I come back up, and Katt goes, "Yo, why'd you walk away?" I said, "Cause he was acting kind of funny, man." I go, I just felt like you didn't want me in your section." He goes, "Nah, man, I'm just rolling this joint and, you know, getting a drink, man, you know." So then I started talking to him some more, and he kept doing the same thing. He started ignoring me again. I go, "What the fuck?" So I just walked away. I was like, dude, I can't. I felt like I was talking to myself. So, but that's what I'm saying. You don't know what Katt you're getting, you know. But I have nothing bad to say about him. He's never done anything wrong to me. Still, that one show in Austin was just dope when he did that. When he gave the driver all that money, it was like, oh yeah, they do accept cash. I never forget that as long as I live. But I talked about that story on Theo Von's podcast, and it was funny how I went over and did Jo Koy's podcast. Now I've known Joe for 20 years. And so I run the Tone Bell, and me and Tone Bell have a nice conversation about, you know, what I've said about him on my podcast. It was never an indictment on Tone. It was just the state of people's attention spans and where we're at in the entertainment business. Then I go to do Jo Koy's podcast. Now, Joe is killing it right now, selling tickets everywhere. He tapped into the Filipino audience, and granted, more people, it's more than just Filipinos, but his core fan base is Filipinos. And so I go to his podcast, and I'm sitting there, and Joe wants to get this story off his chest that he's held on for probably 19 years about me. And me and my wife used to run the Comedy Store on Sunset, and we ran the main room. And Tuesdays was Fat Tuesday. That was the Black Night. So Joe was going up one Tuesday. And I'll never forget, he was getting ready to go up, and right before he went up, somebody told me to switch the lineup or something. Looking back on it, I shouldn't have did it. I told Joe on his podcast, I shouldn't have did that. But I put up this comic named George Wilborn before Joe. And at that time, for that audience, Joe should have went up before George. George was a bigger name. That was more George's crowd and everything else. So George ends up going a little long, not too long, but he went a little long. But he got in a heckler match with this woman in the audience, and George just ate this woman alive to the point where the crowd couldn't breathe and they're rocking back and forth. It would have been hard for anybody to follow that shit, because I do remember that night. And I remember George just got off and the crowd like stands up and they're going fucking nuts. And I'm hosting, so I go back up. I'm trying to give him a chance to breathe before I bring Joe up. And then Joe went up and it was just, they were flat. I mean, they just went off this huge high, spur of the moment, one of those things that you just can't reenact. It just happened. And then Jo Koy goes up and it just was, they were flat. He didn't get booed or not like that. They were just like, it was just flat. And he comes up and I'm on his podcast and he brings that up. And I go, Joe, I was making you stronger, man. But looking back on it, I should have put Joe up first. I should have known better. But the fact that he has sold millions of tickets. Joe is one of the highest grossing comedians out there right now. And he still held on. I always say, man, you don't remember the good shows, but you remember those bombs, man. You remember the flat audiences. You remember the flat cities. You remember comics that go long. I can literally, I know every comic that has went long in front of me that I just like, I don't really want to work with them anymore if they're going to go long. And it's not an indictment on their talent. And if they're not funny, it's just, if you're going to go long, if I'm headlining, I don't want to deal with that. And I'm in a place where I can do that now. I don't have to worry about that. But I was just like, somebody said name one. I just did. Coco Brown. Nah, she went longer for the Katt. I was hosting. But the people that I would name, you probably wouldn't even know, because they're not like household names that do it. They're just the up and comers, you know. Even like there was an incident where a guy named I think his name was Eric Myers, and we were in Tampa, Florida at the Improv, and I was selling DVDs at the time, and he was selling CDs. This is a long time ago. So at that time, I was selling DVDs for $20, and Eric went up and went, yeah, I got CDs after the show. They're only $10. Only. And I swear to God, he emphasized only so much. I went, this motherfucker just undercut me. So I had to tell him, I said, Eric, I said, dude, I don't care if you sell shit after the show, because a headliner can tell a feature, don't sell merch after the show if you both got merch. I've seen it happen. I don't do that because I know features are trying to hustle their money up. But I had to tell him, I said, you can't undercut me, dude. You can't say your shit's only 10 and my shit's 20. Now people, because I literally sold my DVDs for $10 that show because he said it. I was like, dude, now people, it's weird how people get things confused. They go, well, you said $10. I go, no, I didn't. The dude before me said 10. So I had to have the discussion with this guy, Eric Myers, and he goes, oh man, I didn't know, my fault. I think he knew, but he just said he didn't know, but he didn't do it again the rest of the weekend. It was a smooth weekend. But I was like, yeah. He knew what he was doing right there. The fact that you said only, that means you knew. If you just say, hey, I got CDs, man, they're $10. When you say only $10, I was like, oh, motherfucker. You knew he was doing. But I went on Jo Koy and Theo Vaughn's podcast, and that was it was just cool to get on other people's podcasts. And like this weekend, I'm going to be in LA. I'm going to do Eric Griffin's podcast, who is one of my favorite stand-up on the planet, on and off the stage. He's just so funny. But two other things I want to talk about. One is clearly NBA free agency, the NBA draft. Since I didn't address it last week, but right after the draft, shout out to Cincinnati's own Jaxson Hayes. Got drafted number 8 by the New Orleans Pelicans with Zion Williamson. And it's funny. So the only thing I've seen is Zion, New Orleans, Zion. But Jaxson is coming in, 7 foot, can jump out the gym, And when I saw him get drafted, I was like, God, now I know exactly what Jackson's going through with the Zion stuff, because I've done 3 movies with Kevin Hart. So when you do a movie with Kevin Hart, it is Kevin. And then everybody else just kind of falls into place, who's ever else in the movie. And I'm like this, I guarantee that's what Jackson's going through right now with Zion. But listen, What a great day to be Jaxson Hayes, though. Number 8, and just to see his mom, his dad, his 2 little brothers, his sister, who like 3 days after the draft commits to the University of Cincinnati to play basketball. Talk about a family having the best week ever. But it almost feels like one of my like nephews got drafted because, you know, I've known Jaxson since he was in kindergarten. And just to see him blossom and flourish into this NBA player now, I mean, that's like my new favorite team is the Pelicans, just because he's on it. And the day after, I went to the website to try to order some Hayes jerseys, but they weren't up for sale yet. So whenever they go for sale, I check every day. I'm gonna buy the whole family Jaxson Hayes jerseys. Trust that. I was hoping to go to Atlanta, but I'm cool in New Orleans after they got Zion. And then now with all these free agencies, they done a little move. They got JJ Redick. New Orleans did. So they got a little 3-point shooter. So they're going to be okay. New Orleans should make the playoffs. If not this year, next year. I'm not saying the finals, but they'll probably be the number 8, number 7 seed. They got that much talent. But dude, as I'm doing this, Kawhi might have already announced it. I don't know. We're all just waiting on Kawhi Leonard right now. And the thing about it is, nobody's talking about DeMarcus Cousins. Like 2 years ago, he would have probably been the biggest free agent out there. And he's like an afterthought right now. If he could stay healthy, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. The rumor is DeMarcus might go to Boston or the Heat. I'd like to see him in Boston myself. Because then you got, if Kawhi, and all indications looks like Kawhi is going to leave the Raptors, that makes the East wide open, man. Because you got Boston with the moves they made with Kemba, and if DeMarcus goes there, and then Gordon Hayward's there, and Tatum's still there, and then Philly, who took Toronto to 7 games, they got Al Horford now. Who else is there? Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn's not going to do much this year because Durant's not there. It's like Kyrie's there, and they'll make the playoffs, and that's about it. So, but everybody's just waiting, and the West is so wide open. Good Lord. The real winner for agency was Damian Lillard out of everybody. The dude signed like $198 million deal, which was on top of the deal he signed before. So now, he literally, when it's all said and done, he's going to walk away with over $300 million from Portland throughout his entire career. Yeah, I'd say he's the winner of free agency is Damian Lillard. But nobody talk. Who the hell signs a $190 million deal and it's an afterthought? And then I saw one thing on Instagram where they said Jordan didn't make over $100 million in his entire 15-year career. As far as like paychecks, he never made over $100 million. His career, he made like 96 or 98 million total in his 15-year NBA career. And you got role players getting paid for that. Jimmy Butler goes to the Heat. They're just, Jesus, it's just a revolving door. Obviously, Anthony Davis to the Lakers, and Lakers better get Kawhi, man. If they don't, and that's the thing. Even if they got Kawhi, now Kawhi has a history of getting injured. Anthony Davis has a history of getting injured. And LeBron James last year for the first time got injured. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm looking at all 3 of those guys. If they get Kawhi, and I'm going, listen, you guys are going to take some weeks off. Just so you know that. None of you are playing 82 games. I don't care how healthy you feel. And that's just, we just need you for the playoffs. Because Kawhi, Anthony Davis, and LeBron, they don't give a fuck what seed they are if they're in the playoffs. They can care less. 6'5", 4'3". They do not care. And everybody's saying the dynasty's over in Golden State. But you realize Clay towards ACL. He's going to be back for the playoffs. And he's probably going to be rested and healthy. So still got Steph, still got Clay, still got Draymond. Now they got D'Angelo Russell. So, I mean, Golden State's still in there, man. They're still one of the top 4 teams in the West. Like I said, everybody thought last year when Golden State signed Cousins, it was a wrap. And then you see what can happen. Injuries happen in this league. So you got Kawhi, who has a history of getting injured. Anthony Davis has a history of getting injured. And LeBron got injured for the first time last year. So don't be saying it's over because the Lakers ain't got a lot of depth. I'm just like, anything can happen, man. I mean, just remember when back in 2004 when the Lakers had Karl Malone and Gary Payton and Kobe and Shaq, everybody thought they was going to run through everybody, and then boom, Detroit Pistons, team ball. To me, I would say Philly is the favorite in the East as of today. Lakers are obviously the favorite in the West if they get Kawhi. If they don't, they still might be the favorite, but it's not by much. It's so wide open in the West. I mean, Houston's still out there. If Chris Paul and James Harden can put their dang egos aside and just get along. I mean, I feel like I'm quoting Rodney King. Can't we all just get along? Jesus Christ, guys. There's too much talent on that team. King's got a nice little squad. And the team that nobody's talking about, but everybody's talking about is Utah. Because Utah went and got Conley. They got Spider Mitchell. They got Rudy Gobert. So they got the defensive player of the year. And now they got Conley, who doesn't give a shit about stats. He just wants to makes the team better. I'm like, Utah's got a nice squad that ain't a lot of people talking about. But it's funny, nobody's talking about them, but everybody's talking about them. Because everybody's bringing up Utah, but they're like, the team nobody's talking about is Utah. But every channel I turn on, they're talking about them. But I'm like, so we're all talking about them. You know what? It's just going to be a fun year in the NBA. And my team is New Orleans. As long as wherever Jaxson Hayes goes, that's where I'm going. This year will be a fun year to watch him because it'll just be fun to watch. But they're not going anywhere this year. But if I would say Philly and the Lakers, which is great. That takes us back to the early 80s. Because remember, it was like Celtics and Lakers, but then all of a sudden Philly would just pop into a finals with Moses Malone and Dr. J, or Houston would pop into a finals when they had Ralph Sampson and Akeem back in the day. Philly and Lakers, man, that'd be a hell of an NBA finals right there. That's who I think is the favorite right now. But with Kawhi, definitely Lakers. Without, don't be thinking the dynasty's over for Golden State so quick. Don't be thinking because Steph gets hot, they can play with anybody. That's what I know. Who knows with anybody else, man. Like I say, injuries change everything. Look at the NBA Finals. Durant's healthy. Golden State clearly wins again. What's funny is Knicks fans, man. Jesus Christ. They can't win for losing. But I did see somebody, I was watching one of the ESPNers, one of them, and they did say, like, everyone wants to blame Dolan, which I think he does have some accountability in all this, but he's also the owner of the hockey team. And the hockey team's fine. And they're getting all the big free agents in New York, the Rangers. So it's like, what is it? I just think the mystique in New York is gone, and it's been gone for a while. I mean, the last time they were relevant was 99 when they went to the finals, lost to the Spurs when they had Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston. I mean, nobody gives a shit about the Knicks anymore. I mean, honestly, I got the NBA package, and I don't ever stop when the Knicks are on. I mean, I'll stop if I see Golden State. I'll stop with the Lakers. I'll stop for Boston. Knicks are on. I just go right by it. I just shoot right by it. But honestly, people want to bag on the Knicks, but I think this year, more than any other year, they actually stepped back and didn't overpay for an aging free agent. Because that was their thing. When they got Amari and they got Carmelo, like, they overpaid and then it didn't pan out. And I think they went, oh, maybe we learn from that. Let's start building from the draft and get young players in here. And because Julius Randle's no slouch. Barrett, I think he's going to do well. So, obviously they're not going to do anything this year, but they'll be better than they were last year. And that's not saying much. So listen, I would say Lakers and Philly, if you're asking me who's going to be in the NBA Finals next year. That's if everybody stays healthy. I keep saying if. But listen, it's my daughter's birthday tomorrow. She's turned the big 1-7. We got a lot of surprises for her. I don't want to say what it is because this is live, but she's going to be ecstatic with her birthday gifts. And it reminded me though, like growing up, me and my wife was talking about this, like growing up in Cincinnati, the thing was Kings Island. I always wanted to go to Kings Island on my birthday. That was like that was like the big amusement park in Cincinnati. That was our Six Flags. And we was talking about like performers that perform, because my daughter really wants to go to Hamilton. She wants to go see that play Hamilton. And there was a girl from my high school, Talawanda High School in Oxford, Ohio, who was on she started at Kings Island, and then she got on the cast of Hamilton. And not a lot of people from my high school has ever gone into entertainment or anything else. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's cool. Somebody that from my alma mater is on the Hamilton cast. And then my wife said, yeah, she started at Kings Island. And I was like, oh, I said, that makes sense. The little performances around the amusement park, which are so cheesy. It's, hey, they sing like the worst songs, Old Town Road, picking up my horse. That's how they'll sing those songs. And so I worked at a place called Americana when I was growing up. And Americana was the trailer park of amusement parks. It was the bottom of the barrel. But I loved it there. And I worked, it was my first time performing, because I worked for this lady called Foofy. It was Foofy's Games. And she paid me $2.50 an hour under the table, clearly getting lower than minimum wage. And but I was only 15 too. So she hired me and I wasn't 16. But this is where one person comes in and fucks up the whole hustle, right? So we were never allowed to collect money. The money went straight into this bin. You flip the bin up, and then the money goes down in a safe underneath the place where you're playing the games. So only time you had money was when you were changing people. Somebody gives you 20, and they want 5 balls to throw at the stuffed animal. So that's when you handle money. Some people were skimming off Foofy. I knew who they were. I wasn't, but I knew who they were. Everybody knew who was skimming, right? Now, the only time I ever took money was this family from Buffalo was in town. They had a family reunion at Americana. And I had a microphone. I was able to bag on people as they walked by. That was my first real performances, was at Americana Music Park. So people walk by, make fun of your outfit, or come over here, Kumo D looking mug, or somebody would have a shirt on, too legit to quit. And I'd be like, dang, Hammer, let's see some moves, So this family from Buffalo was there, and they were at my games, and I was on the mic bagging on them. And I think I was on where you got the spray gun, and you got to spray the little hole, and your horses race. The music clicks in. So you got 8 horses. It's a family reunion. The whole family's playing, so somebody's going to win. But they kept coming back all day playing with me. And at the end of the day, on the way out the amusement park, one of the guys goes, hey, player, and he gave me $20. He goes, that's for you, man. Thanks for making the day fun. I put the $20 in my pocket. That's my $20. I didn't steal. I didn't cheat anybody. That dude tipped me $20. There was nothing in there that said you can't take tips. Nobody ever gave you a tip, though. But that's the only time I ever took money. Now, granted, there was ways where you hustle at Americana Music Park. Like, if you got in good with the food people, a lot of people, I tried to get in good with the food people, because the food people, you could go in and there was a cafeteria, and I might give the girl $1, and all the $1 was for a hamburger. I got a quadruple cheeseburger with fries for that $1. That's not stealing. That's called the hookup. So I give her $1 for a hamburger. All of a sudden, there's 4 patties and cheese and fries on my plate. That shit just happened. I still paid. If you look at the cameras, I gave money to the register. There was a girl that ran the shake stand in the middle by Foofy's Games. There was a big shake ice cream stand right in the middle of either side of Foofy's Games. And I got in good with the girl that made the shakes. So I'd go over there again, give $1 for maybe a bottle of water, but I get a chocolate malt. That's just a hookup. Nobody was ripping anybody off or stealing. So this girl comes, it's her like second day on the job. And when you're there, you try to be nice. I always try to be nice to people and tell them what the hookups were around the amusement park. So I'm the one that told her, I said, look, she's cool. This one right here, she works in the morning. She makes the shakes. When you go to cafeteria, get in good with that girl's cool, or that dude's cool. I'm telling you who the cool people are. So this dummy, this chick, she's working the things where you got the little rings and you throw them on the glass milk bottles, and the one in the middle, like it's all green milk bottles. But then there's like 4 white ones. And if you get it on the white one, you get a small stuffed animal. Now there's a red glass milk bottle in the middle, which is fucking impossible to get on. If you make it on that, you get the 6-foot fucking Inspector Gadget or Goofy or Scooby-Doo, right? You're lucky to get one of those a month. This chick has her boyfriend show up, and all of a sudden, it's her first hour on the dang glass milk bottle ring toss. Oh, there's a one. You got to call that one in. You can't just say, you got to call that shit in. So she had to get on the phone and call it in. They got to get it down. You got to sign some paperwork and shit. And so I was like, and I'm sitting here going, damn. When I heard the bell go off, because, it's a big deal, I was like, dang, I've worked that thing for 3 months. Nobody's hit. This girl's been here an hour, right? Or second day, first time on the milk thing. 3-4 hours later, ding, 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 ding. Another one. She's still working the milk jug thing. I went, hold the fuck up. 2 people win in the same day, and ain't nobody won the whole month. And then the owner, I don't know if that was her real name, Foofy comes out, and she's like, she sits down next to the guy that won the big one, right? And she's asking him questions like, wow, that's crazy, you won. And I'm listening to her. She's straight milk. And this dude was like, could not put a sentence together. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. So how'd you win? I threw the ring on the milk bottle. Well, how many did you buy? Like 5. You got to buy 10. You couldn't buy 5. Like he had all the wrong answers. And I just went, fuck. And I go, she let him win, basically. Like she just said he won. He didn't really win. And then one of her friends came over from high school. Everybody worked Foofy's games was in high school, by the way. There was no adults working there. Everybody was in high school. It was all kids. And then so she brings the girl in, fires her, and then the girl fucking narcs on everybody. Tells on everybody that's skimming and stealing and doing it. Nobody's really stealing, just taking a couple dollars on the side here and there. And then my name got in the middle of it. So then I go into Foofy's office, and she's like, and Gary, it's been brought to my attention, you've been stealing and skimming. I go, no, I haven't. I didn't take shit. You got cameras, right? I'm calling her out. I didn't steal nothing. And then I told her, I said, the only thing I ever did was I took $20 from this family from Buffalo, who the guy gave me a tip at the end of the day. And I didn't think I had to report that because it was like a dude give me $20. And I'm going off on this lady named Foofy. And then she called me back like 3 days later and rehired me and just said, out of everybody we fired, everybody copped. And when I say everybody, like 4 people out of like 50 workers. She said, everybody copped to doing a little bit of dirt, stealing here and there. She goes, you're the only one that was so animate. Like, I ain't steal shit, And I got my job back at Americana because she's like, you were so animate. And then we had no proof. And I guess they checked cameras and there was nothing where I stole anything. I thought $2.50 was a lot of money, honestly. Because you figure I'm working 8 hours a day. We did clock in and clock out. That's right. We did clock in and clock out. So they did have time cards. So 8 hours, that's $5 every 2 hours. That's $10. That's $20 a day. Over 25 years ago, for a kid that's 15, $20 a day. I'm working 5 days a week. That's $100 a week. To me, that was a lot of goddamn money. So I just, it was just funny when we were talking about amusement parks and jobs when I was a teenager. I was like, I'll never forget Foofy's games. That was my first job. Like I was performing and like working for minimum wage, less than minimum wage, but I was also preparing myself to be a stand-up. Yeah. But I mean, look, before I got here, I completely forgot to thank Spokane, Washington. And I finally figured out how to say the name. They said like trash can, Spokane, not Spokane, Spokane, Washington. I went to the Hoop Fest. I was there last week, and they had this thing called Hoop Fest. Over 200,000 people come in for this 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And no money. There's no cash prize. It's like T-shirts and pictures or something like. And there's people coming in from out of town for this. 200,000 people. I'm like, you must be crazy. There's got to be a cash prize. And then you saw people like really taking it serious. And they got every category. They got co-ed. They had disabled. They had like a wheelchair division. They got the elite division, which is like all ex-college players. Some of them dudes are really good. But when you go to a 3-on-3 tournament like that and watch it, you be like, whoa. It reminds you how good NBA players are. Because some of these dudes were balling. And it was intense. And I was like, I couldn't do nothing with somebody guard me that's 6'5" with a 6'8" arm span that can shoot threes and go the hole. I said, nothing I can do with that. I was like, and it just gives you an idea of how good NBA players are. Because these guys was like from Northern Colorado and like Wichita State, shit like that. I was like, and they couldn't make it in the league. And I'm looking at them like, dude, how is anybody going to beat this team? But it was funny because they had a half court shot, right? So it's this, and I put it on my Instagram story. Me and Say did it. We got close, but we didn't hit it. But if you hit the half court shot, you get you pay $10 for 3 shots. And if you hit the half court, you get your name, you write your name down. You got to come back on Sunday, and then they have a 3-point shootout, and then they get it down to like 5 guys, and then they do a half court shot again. And then whoever wins, they get it was like a Toyota RAV4 or something wrapped in like a Hoop Fest wrapping. So this guy goes up there. He looked about 45, 50 years old. And he's sitting down and he gave the guy $40. So basically 12 shots. And I'm looking at him like, this dude can't let it go. His socks, he was dressed like a teenager, but he was clearly like 45, 50. He marks off his steps. He checks the wind. He does all this shit, right? And I'm like, and I'm literally talking to my opener, say like, this fucking loser, right? And the fucker made it. First shot, like swish. And I went, then the guy goes, oh, he's our 2-time champion. So he won in like 2012 and another year. The guy goes, he's from the announcer is like, he's from Southern California. He comes up here every year. He's already taken 2 cars home. They go, I don't know if he catches a bus here and then drives the car back to Southern California. But I was looking at the guy like, this freaking goofball. Whack! And I was like, oh. And they gave him the money back. Since he hit on his first shot, it's $10 for 3 shots. They gave him the $30 back because I thought that was cool. But I was like, this. Now, I left Sunday morning, so I don't know if he ended up winning. But it's funny how I was looking at him like, this loser-ass, goofy, checking the wind. Look how he's dressed. That mug went, whack! I was like, oh, shit. And that's when the announcement, oh, he's our 2-time returning champ. Won in 2000. I was like, oh, okay, this guy's a real deal. That's why you can't judge a book by its cover. All right. So anyways, again, Vegas, July 13th at the Palms Casino, the Pearl Theater inside the Palms. And then Minnesota, July 18th through the 20th. And Philadelphia at the Helium Comedy Club, July 25th to the 28th. And then Cleveland, first week of August, I'll be there. And I just bought my tickets to go see Ty Law get enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but I don't think I can make it. So in the next couple weeks, I'm probably going to have some kind of contest where I'm going to give people 2 tickets to go see Ty and Ed Reed and everybody else that got inducted this year. It's a good year, but I didn't realize it was at night, and I think I got to work that night. So that sucks. But stranger things have happened. You never know. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. This is Gary Owen with the Get Some Podcast.